If you can't hang your Cabidor on the door of your choice, it's too tight in the corner, or you want it on the outside of the door, we have an adapter kit. This is the key right here, this little bracket. And what it does is it provides a substitute for the hinge and the hinge pin. On this door, for instance, the hinges are on the other side, so you can't hang your Cabidor, but I'll show you how to hang this. This little bracket will mount here and down below, and the exact placement is not that critical because the hanging hardware on the side of the Cabidor cabinet is fully adjustable, so you can kind of put them where you want. Just make sure you don't go more than about 60 inches. First step is to locate your brackets. I hold them up here, do the top one first, mark it with a pencil, and then I drilled 2 little pilot holes. If you don't have a drill, you can just use a hammer and a nail. I'm using an impact driver, but you can use a hand screwdriver just as easily. And of special note is the kit comes with 2-length wood screws. This one is for doors, because you don't want the screw coming through the other side of your door. And this one is if you mount it directly to a wall, so you can screw into a structural member like a stud, but I'll show you that later. It's easier to screw in the brackets if you open the door. You just pull down, locate where your next bracket's going to go, and drill in the pilot holes. A key tip here is there's a screw that goes up through the bottom of the bracket. I generally will start these before I put it on the door. It's just easier, especially on the bottom one, to get it threaded and get it started. But don't drive it all the way up because it'll block the bottom hole and you'll have to back it out to get that bottom screw in. When you locate the brackets, open your door and notice where the hinge screws are and locate the mounting screws for your bracket where they won't contact the hinge screw. If you do, you're going to have to drill another hole and move it, and you may end up with a hole in your door you don't want. So just avoid these. It'll save you a lot of headache down the road. Okay, both brackets are mounted. One thing to remember is when you locate your bracket, make sure the door is closed and hold it about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch away from this door stop. If you get too tight, it's going to bind and it's going to start scratching up this piece of woodwork. So you want to avoid that. Since we're mounting it on a door, you've got 2 short screws. Here's the stop nut, the vertical screw, the little bushing, and remember to put your lock washer down here below. So this is the entirety of the assembly right here. I've got my screw started in the bottom. Again, open the door. The vertical screw goes up through the bottom of the bracket. Need to slip a lock washer on it. Drive this up. I'm using an impact driver because I have one, but if you don't, you can use a handheld screwdriver. And just drive it up. Just take your time and make sure you don't cross thread it. This little plastic bushing slips over the screw, snugs up the hanging hardware that sits on top, keeps it from making noise, and it keeps it from scratching up the bracket. So put those on there, close your door, and it's time to mount the Cabidor. I just take this dimension just like you would if you were mounting it on the hinges, as we show in our other installation videos. You measure bottom to bottom or top to top and then transfer that dimension to the Cabidor that you're going to mount. And then the Cabidor itself, you line up the bottom. There we go. Works just like the hinge pin. And then place your little stop nut. It's a little nylon lined nut that once you put it on, it won't vibrate off, so you can't lift it off. It's an extra safety feature to make sure that someone doesn't pick up on the thing and have it come off. And as in the other installation videos, you just stick the striker plate on, press it against the door, and you're good to go. Now that the brackets are mounted to the wall, you put the Cabidor on top of the vertical screws, and they're a substitute for the hinge pins. It operates just the same as if you were hanging it off the door hinges, except it's just mounted to the wall. And as you can see, this holds emergency supplies for my granddaughters. Hair bands, brushes, I think there's a little body scrub down there, and of course the ever-present reindeer headband, because they say Christmas comes once a year, but not in this house. So Another important part when you're installing this is to make sure that the screws are into a wall stud, and you can use a stud finder to find those, or you can tap on the wall and you generally hear the sound. I usually will locate where my brackets are going to be and then just use a nail and put a little test hole in to make sure you're hitting a stud. Use the longer screws in the kit, not the 1¼ inch screws. These are 2-inch screws to make sure you really attach to that wall stud. And make sure that these brackets are absolutely vertical, plumb among one another. And you can do that with a level, or you can measure to the nearest corner, or if you have a door in the wall, measure to the door casing and make sure the dimension is the same to each bracket, and that'll ensure that the Cabidor hangs vertically. If the brackets aren't vertical, you're going to have a crooked Cabidor.